Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to a new episode of Flesh Wound Farce, where we review and discuss your and our favorite comedy films. This is the world's first and only combination trivia host and professional wrestling announcer of Chilean descent that currently resides in Southern California, Ozzy V. And with me, as always, on this program, first in the Northern California Bay Area, world famous juggler Greg Larson. How you doing, Greg?
Fantastic. How about yourself, Ozzy?
I'm doing well. I'll tell you why I'm doing well is because right now we have our Patreon audience joining us on this live recording. Anybody can join us on the Patreon, patreon.com/fleshwoundfeatures. And you can join in live recordings amongst some other things happening for only as little as $1 a month. So thank you to the Patreon audience. This is going to be up until, of course, this airs on the YouTube at its regularly scheduled date. So this week, we have, as requested, a reviewing Revenge of the Nerds, which was released on July 20th, 1984, rated R. Todd, do you have a trailer available?
Yes, I do.
Star Wars, Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid, The Sound of Music. In the tradition of these great films about fighting back against the odds, 20th Century Fox presents another milestone in motion picture history. Revenge of the Nerds.
Nerds?
Nerds. Nerds!
What is a nerd?
They've been laughed at, picked on, and put down.
I'm not kissing a nerd.
They don't have the moves or the muscle,
You know karate? No. Good.
but they've got the brains.
I know what we're gonna do.
It's time for the odd to get even.
Their action tonight demands an immediate retaliation.
How many cameras do we have left?
This should do it.
Oh, here she comes.
Go up, go up.
Oh, no.
That nerd saw me naked!
Are all nerds as good as you?
Revenge of the Nerds. Their time has come.
I drink to that.
That was the trailer for Revenge of the Nerds, again released on July 20th, 1984, with a runtime of 90 minutes, rated R. It sounded like Orson Welles on the theatrical trailer, which was added a nice touch to it. This was written by Tim Metcalf for the story, Michael Tejada Flores, as well as Steve Zacharias and Jeff Buhai, where for the screenplay going to Steve and Jeff credits. Starring Robert Carradine, Anthony Edwards, Timothy Busfield as Poindexter, Andrew Cassesi as Wormser, Larry B. Scott Lamar, Curtis Armstrong as Booger. I had to say a lot, but I mean, you saw a lot of
Ted
these guys.
McGinley? Come on.
Ted McGinley. I mean, I don't know if he got starring billing in it.
he deserves it, even despite his curse.
I did write that down. However, as I was watching the rest of the movie, it's like, I gotta give credit where credit is due. So, initial thoughts on this. I'd actually seen the sequel, Nerds in Paradise, first before watching this one. And I got to be honest, I believe this was the first time I'd seen this one all the way through. I'd always seen parts of it, but this was the first time from beginning to end seeing it all the way through. Very interesting. And
Okay,
yeah.
I thought you'd seen it and had an opinion on it. So
No. So I pretty much have seen all the parts,
bits together, just not at once.
just not exactly all at once. Exactly. Yes. But I always enjoyed seeing the antics because the sequel is pretty much a rehash of the second, or the first rather. So
At a PG-13 level.
a little watered down. Yes.
It was my first. Well, we'll talk about that.
That
when we
era
get to it.
PG-13. So,
Fair point.
This is true. It was one F word away from it all.
yeah.
Greg, any initial thoughts?
Yeah, so I've got to have an honest moment with you guys. I've seen this movie. This fun movie. But when I first watched this movie, there was no strong internet presence and didn't really know a bunch of stuff. And for the longest time, I thought this was a sequel because of the Revenge of the Nerds title. Like, I thought for some reason, like, there might have been a Nerds movie, like, and that this was now a Revenge of the Nerds. And it wasn't until we watched it, I was like, I could have sworn there was another Nerds movie, and I was incorrect. So, yeah. So
No,
thank
just
you.
not before. There's more, just not
Right.
before.
A prior movie.
Maybe
So
we need the prequel then.
yeah, because I do remember, like, I was like, when I was watching this, I was like, wait, is this I'm now watching this again for the first time in a long time. This is the first time Booker's in it. I thought he was in all of them, and so yeah. So that was when I looked back. I was like, man, my whole youth is now questioned. But yeah, no, this movie has always kind of been one of those ones that's had some fun moments. And to quote an Ozzyism from quite some time ago that's not been said, I probably saw this at an age I shouldn't have. So, but yeah. So it was fun to revisit some things. I was like, ooh, that didn't age well. But
There's
because
a lot
we
of
can,
that.
yeah, because we can say the classic. It was a different time. Yeah. It's still fun journey to go on.
I have to tell you, Ozzy, I'm a little upset with you. I didn't click till you said it in our intro that this turns 40 like next month.
Ooh.
Yeah. That kind of like
It's okay with things turning 40 this year.
okay. Well.
So.
But yeah, I love
okay, I'm sorry. I was just saying this movie was released on July 20th. My birthday's on 1984. Birthday is June 29th, 1984. So when you say and you emphasize it just kind of, zoned me out for a second.
Yeah.
That's all. Continue.
Yeah, I'm near at 50. You're fine. Now I lost it.
Initial thoughts.
Oh yes, thank you. Oh yeah, 100% saw this too young. I actually think I saw the TV cut first, and then my cousin showed it to me because that's what your cousins do.
Right?
They show you the good one.
It was my older brother, so yeah.
Yeah.
I think. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say definitely influenced my. I'm still. If college was like that, I would have went.
It's pretty funny. So I think the reason why I probably saw parts of this movie and never the whole thing, I think it might have been that my brother or my sisters might have had it on the TV, and then I walked in, so they as soon as they noticed I was in the room, they changed the channel. Probably, I think to that extent, probably. But this movie has a lot of great moments. It kind of gets, I don't want to say serious, but the very end of it is interesting in that it's not like a big humorous climax, like with some movies.
Well, there was kind of a humorous climax in Around the Moon, but
okay, yeah, right. The climax of the film.
Yeah. Oh, got it.
Oh, Ben says he was that older brother that showed his much younger brother this.
You're a good man, Ben.
Thank you, Ben. We need more people like you. All right, so we were going into, I think, funniest moments at this point. So, Todd, I want to save you for last, since I think this is one.
Since I have a long list.
You probably have a long list.
This is one of my favorite sex comedies, but not only that, it's one of the definitive 80s sex comedies.
For sure.
Ozzy's favorite genre, and yes, other films are going to come out in a minute.
I understand that. Now, before we actually get into the favorite moments, I want to address something, because
are you trying to cut it off of the path?
Yeah, I am, because here's the thing. I watched this with my girlfriend, right?
Yep.
And then when that scene happened, so I asked her about the scene, before and after, and she'd made a comment, after it happens, and then she becomes enamored with him. It's like, hey, you just did this to me, but I love you now. Made a joke about it. So when the movie was done, I asked her about the scene because this conversation was going to come up because I've been chided for it before for having this opinion, whatever. And she says, "Well, you don't actually see that it's intercourse. He could have just gone down on her, right? And at that point, it's more leaning towards molestation by deception." I was like,
well, then wouldn't it be penetration by deception?
but that's the
We
point.
call that
is
a sleep bandit.
She's saying that there was no penetration, and it was probably just cunnilingus
That's possible, but
because he was
if it
wearing a
makes you-
mask. Easily got up the mask, and then there you go. Instead of keeping the mask on the entire time while you're doing that, that'd be very difficult to pull off.
you know what?
I was
Ozzy?
waiting for somebody to say "and pull out," but I yeah, go ahead.
When a man is trying to get through that act, he'll make the impossible happen, so that mask will stay
I
just
mean,
fun.
That's
Okay, well, his glasses weren't even fogged up.
My
so-
point is, this taught a generation that as long as she liked it after, it was okay.
That is the tough part, is that when you see the reaction afterward, it makes it easier to digest, I guess. But still, at the end of the day, it's deception is what
Ben's dropping knowledge, though.
It is still an arrestable offense, sure. But when we're comparing this, because I think this came up when I talked about why I didn't want to review Jack Frost, then it became a whole
but that is 100% not one. You could easily explain that one away, even more than just oral.
Nope, okay. So
wait, what?
I just wanted to say I got a woman's opinion on the whole thing.
Well,
So
I'm glad.
that she said when she first saw it, thought it was funny, and then watching it in retrospect, like, okay, so that actually happened, but at the same time, it was more leaning towards a molestation by deception. And granted, maybe in the eyes of the law, it would be seen as whatnot, but the fact that the reaction wasn't
it all comes down to that.
It here's the thing is that we see, and this was the point I made with her, is that there's tons of movies where we see where the guy just needs one chance with the girl, and then the girl becomes enamored of him. It's like a tried and true cliched thing in a ton of movies. This was just one of the ways. What is done?
By that logic, then that okay's private school.
No, nothing is okay with private school.
They end up together.
No, what? They end up together after spending 20 minutes on a beach after she has to apologize to him. I'm sorry I got upset with you after seeing you in another bedroom with a half-naked girl. No, she apologized. Like Didn't Matthew Modine say he regretted that movie? You said that.
I think that was your research. I don't recall.
No, because it was one of those things. It was like, okay, well, even Matthew Modine said it wasn't his best, or something like that.
He's on the extras on the Blu-ray, so I'll have to go to the files for that one.
I hate that there's extras on a Blu-ray of that movie.
Special edition from a boutique label.
Can we not talk about Private School? I'm getting a headache.
But so I don't know. I think this is a bit of a double standard because this is a more popular film. I know there's a few other popular ones we'll have to tackle.
Okay, so
funny moments.
One of the things that really pissed me off about Private School, as I just mentioned, is
I know we were done with Private.
But I need to, because it is not a double standard. Because what I was talking about is when I mentioned that kind of violent act can't be funny, right? And then you said, well, what about Revenge of the Nerds? I said, we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. Here we are.
That's a very specific bridge. That is the panty raid bridge. You said that was not a.
No, I didn't. I wasn't mad about the I understand that happens. Whatever. Didn't they try to do that in Animal House? That's not what I was getting pissed at in Private School. I got pissed off at Private School because the female character had to apologize because she got mad that she saw her boyfriend in another room with a half-naked girl. She had to apologize. I'm sorry I got mad at you. Like, are you kidding me? And
that's
plus 20 minutes. Moving on. my whole
Check out a
thing
review of
was-
Private School if you haven't seen it. It's well worth watching.
Definitely a good time.
Well, what? Oh, wait, hold on. The director said they regretted making that scene. Thank you, Ben.
Okay, well, there you go.
But they
it's
did,
not-
and it's still.
they did. It's still on there, but when it comes
Wait,
to
which
the context,
scene,
I was.
are we talking in Nerds or are we talking Private School?
Oh, this is a good question, Ben. Yeah, Nerds
I
or
think-
Private School?
I think the director of Private School might have regretted the whole movie instead of just one scene. So, I believe he might be referencing the moon scene there. But anyhow, since that has been addressed, my viewpoint has been expressed. So now we can move on to the more fun stuff of our favorite moments. Todd,
Right
I
on,
know
man.
you have a long list, so we're gonna go.
Thank
No.
you.
Right now, I don't know if you want to go first or want to go last. I'd vote last.
Okay, yeah, I have a few, so I'll just say Mopery and throw it to Ozzy.
I should have gone first.
Sell it.
Okay, all right. Well, for me,
Hold on. Wait. But before that, I just want to answer Ben's question. So you all
no,
recommend Private School?
no.
Yes.
I do
Yes.
not.
Yes, Ben. Yes.
Much like the opposite. If you see it for $1 as a DVD, use it as a coaster.
You're
don't
just
need
making him
that-
watch it faster.
Oh,
Yeah. Okay,
Okay.
sorry. Back
Gotta
to your
watch it.
favorite
moving
moment.
on. Poindexter there's like a montage of them cleaning up the house, and there's a moment where he becomes afraid of the robot. And for some reason, him being deathly, it seemed like he played that role so well that he seemed really deathly afraid of this robot that it was it was gonna really attack him. So I just lost it when I saw him with the broom trying to hit this thing as he was being backed into the corner. Yeah, for sure. Greg?
All right.
So I have two favorite moments I have to bring up. One that's in the movie and one that's not. So in the movie, so I just love ridiculousness. And when this is a lot of this, although crazy, is set in a world of somewhat reality and plausible things. And early in the movie, there's they're going to college and such, and they're driving over there and they've got the straps over their luggage, and they go to undo the straps and you see them flip over, and there's this cartoonish boing, and like I laughed so hard because it was so unexpected that I really enjoyed that. But the part that's not in the movie is actually karma, and that karma is Ted McGinley, for all that he did in this, was punished later in life by having to marry Marcy Darcy. And I think that that's fitting.
There you go. Oh, are we?
Now I'm kind of sad we didn't get an ogre cameo in Married with Children.
Right?
Ben, I do see your question. And I'm going to bring it up in a minute. But
Oh man.
no, it's a good one. Geez, it's hard. I just have to go with the one scene. Are you ready for the sex girl? The party scene with the moves. It's so hard for me to pick one moment in that. But honestly, Wonder Joints Thriller, it kicks off there. And yeah. Didn't know what they were as a child, but I just knew I wanted Wonder Joints one day.
It's pretty funny.
I'm gonna go to college with the robots.
So there's a question that was asked, Todd.
Yes, there is. Ben asks, "Who is your favorite nerd?" So here we go. Out of our nerds, who is your favorite nerd? I got it. I'm a booger guy. Yeah.
I mean, I think I'm most jealous of Poindexter just because of how hard that joint hit him and how So I'll give it to him.
I think I would go Burger as well, just because it reminds me of somebody that I can't really say.
Is he
right
fair
now.
enough actually a nerd though?
Well, what makes a nerd?
That's a great question. I mean, they talk about the GPA and looking different in the big speech at the end. Can we confirm Booger had a decent GPA?
But he's more of the like slacker nerd, I think, is his.
Gotcha.
You know, I think where they're going with him, because they're all different types. Because I mean, why is Lamar a nerd? So you got to go with just.
We don't know he's not smart.
You don't even know which one I meant, so that's a 50-50 answer. But I'm just saying, it is just kind of. It was 84. 40 years ago was a little bit different.
Right.
Well, I mean, I think Boogers was a lot of people's favorite.
Right.
I think that's why they were able to have a fourth Booger Gets Married. If you remember the TV movie.
Yeah,
I do.
Yeah, I try to forget.
I do. Yeah.
Oof, that bad, huh?
They must have gave Ted McGinley a 2-picture contract when he signed up for Marriage and Children. We got it. Nerds 3 and 4.
That's pretty funny. So
Dan, all your questions have already been answered. You're late. We're past that, Dan. Oh, Ben says Toshihiro is correct. So that's his pick.
Toshihiro.
I mean, he was great. Don't get me wrong, but boy, howdy, did a lot of that not age well.
You know, with
You
some
mean
characters
Takashi?
that got away with stuff, it's surprising I didn't pick Robert
Takashi?
Carradine.
His name's Takashi.
Yeah, isn't that what we said? Toshiro? Oh.
You know, some of the reasons why we look at this and are like, oh, that didn't age well. Oh, that didn't age well. And here we're like, wait, what did I say? Oh, yeah. Takashi, which, by the way, played by Brian Tochi, was also the voice, or of course, being in Police Academy.
No, don't wow Todd me. I'm looking at the chat. That's all Ben. Oh, thank you, Ben. Okay.
First
Ben's
name.
like, no.
First name.
Takashi is his last name.
Okay.
Yeah,
Thank
it's
you.
not they all sound the same kind of situation.
Although it was pretty funny to think that for a
That's fantastic. Yeah.
millisecond.
Yeah.
So you thought that, so that makes sense. See? It's my word still.
Well, because here's the thing. I'm going to be honest.
no, that's right,
I saw this a couple days ago, and I got the list next to me of all the cast members in their roles. And then so when I have him as Takashi, and I apologize that I made any insinuations, but I just want to point out also from Police Academy, and also the voice of Leonardo from the Ninja Turtle movies, the old school puppets, not the Michael Bay ones. So
Those are animatronics, sir.
okay, so moving on. Animatronics. In terms of the rating, which I think what made this kind of give it a different feel than at least from the sequel, whereas like when I used to watch the sequel, it was just like, fun, stupid comedy or whatever. But this had something else to it that gave it a little weight, and that was Gilbert's character, played by Anthony Edwards, because he kind of has this, like where Lewis is more like goofy and less cautious. Gilbert was the great opposite to that and was more the cautious one and tried to be rational. And his speech at the end was kind of like a curveball because I wasn't expecting that. But I think this also puts it on a different level. And I don't want to say, oh, well, I don't want to sound the way it might sound, which is
There's a reason he was in Top Gun and not Revenge of the Nerds 2.
Fair point. Yes. Although, wasn't he like injured though? And that's why he didn't go on the trip. And they called him, he had a broken leg.
They have a little gimmick at the beginning to explain him. So they got him for like a day.
Sure.
But he took the picture that He
but
took this
none
one.
of that, I guess, heart was in. These are guys. This is revenge. It's not like these guys are, just doing this just because. It's all revenge, standing up for themselves. So there's like a different message going on. Whereas the second one was just all antics.
And for the record, you asked favorite nerd. My favorite character is, of course, Ogre. I mean, gotta be.
Naturally.
Even though he's
All
in
right,
that
By
dumb
the way,
bandana.
his burp in the burp contest was some hot garbage. Like the things, Ozzy, when I lived with you, the burps that we probably heard throughout that house, put that to shame. Like easily.
Oh, my girlfriend is watching this.
I'm sorry. Look, it
It's
was a different
okay.
time. It was
a different time. It was a different time.
It wasn't you, but to be fair, but yeah, the things that happened there, yeah, Ogre was nothing.
Speaking of a different time, did you know way back in the magical year of 2006 that Atomic was going to make a remake of Revenge of the Nerds, and that it actually started filming and was canceled after the dailies came in? They were like, it's not going to work anymore. So Fox Atomic canceled it. I can't remember how many days it was filming, but I know Elmore University, where it was filmed, like basically they told them they couldn't come back after that first batch of filming. So the studio was faced with, well, do we just find another spot? And they looked at the dailies and they're like, this isn't going to work. And that was like almost 15 years ago, and he couldn't make Nerds work. But, Big Bang screwed it all up. So there you go.
You know what? That's another thing I wanted to bring up, because it almost seems like, okay, so the nerd stereotype is that at this time is that they're all into computers because there's like a new technology and all sorts of stuff, whatever. Now the nerd is more comic books, video games,
Is it though
science
now?
fiction.
Is it now? Like now that's mainstream.
Well, I mean, no, but that's my point. It's so this movie featured the stereotype of what a nerd would be, right? And the Big Bang Theory capitalizes on what everybody's stereotypes of what they think nerds are, right? Except the difference is that this is like encapsulated in like a 90-minute movie where you have the Big Bang Theory like watered down with all sorts of cleanser.
Imagine Sheldon planting cameras in the women's locker room. Okay, Dan.
He wouldn't know what's happening inside his pants. Is the problem? This is my point.
It would be very much like,
but because I mean, I know a lot of people love Big Bang Theory. If you do, more power to you. But I know some people that don't, and I think it's the like, if there was a Revenge of the Nerds TV show, I don't think it would do well. At least not with me,
a pilot for it, and it's not very good.
And let me tell you, just to go back on the Sheldon thing, if he were to do it, it would not be for the same reasons they did it in the film in Revenge of the Nerds. It would be because he's studying something, and that would all it would end up being.
Kind of boring.
Yeah.
Like the show. Anyway, moving on to our ratings, because we haven't had a chance to do that yet. I loved this movie from start to finish, and it had that little bit of heart with Gilbert's character. Definitely gets a 5 from me.
Wow.
I'm taking it back.
I really, I mean, okay, it didn't age well. There's a lot of stuff that does not fly today.
Yeah, but you gave a movie with a struggle snuggle a 5. I'm just saying. I can't say the other word.
I just picked up what you're throwing down. Oh, that's going in my vocabulary.
Okay, well, let it be optimistic. let this show signs of optimism that anything can happen. And how about that?
Okay.
So still a 5.
Okay. Greg, what did you?
Anything can happen for your rating or for the struggle snuggle. I'm not sure.
For the rating.
Okay, fair. Oh man. T-shirts, Ozzy, T-shirts.
Oh no.
Oh man, not okay. Yeah, no, this one sure, like you said, didn't age well. Different time, but I've got memories with this, and it's still a fun flick. So I agree with you, Ozzy. This is a 5, still funny, still has heart, has some bumps in the road with age, but you know, when you look at it for what the time was, yeah, it's still a 5.
And Todd, that's got to be obvious.
Oh yeah, 100% a 5.
Yeah.
Not even a thought. I mean, come on, this is a classic American cinema.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, this was a review for Revenge of the Nerds, currently available streaming on Stars if you are a subscriber, otherwise able to purchase wherever you consume your favorite digital content. And if you are in the Orange County area this week, I'll be hosting Trivia Monday at the Rush Bar and Grill at 6:30 in Lake Forest, every Tuesday at the Brewery in Placentia beginning at 7 o'clock, every Wednesday at Los Alamitos and Griffith's Grill at 7:30, and every Thursday at the Honey Pot Meadery in Anaheim at 7:30 as well. Free to play and prizes for the top winning teams. Gentlemen, have anything else before we head off the evening?
Check out Flesh Wound Horror live this Wednesday.
All right. And of course, a special thank you goes to our Patreon subscribers who have early access to this episode. Thank you very much for your support. And for
Except
those that
for
would
Dan,
like to,
you were late.
Yeah.
Dan doesn't count. Dan
Oh,
doesn't count. So
yeah.
moving on, though, if you would like to join, head to patreon.com, Flesh Wound Features, and for as little as $1 a month, you can have access to these types of recordings or any other things that are listed available on the site. So, gentlemen, don't have anything else for the evening. We'll be heading out. You guys got anything else?
No?
All right. For world famous juggler Greg Larson and Flesh Wound producer Todd, I'm Ozzy V, and we'll see you next week right here on a brand new episode of Flesh Wound Farce.